Hey everyone, this is Laura Gadenik with Laura Gadenik Astrology, and I'm here to give you the astrology for the weeks of August 7th through the 20th, 2023. Before I get started, I would like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, helps my channel to grow, and I'd love to hear from you regarding how the astrology is impacting you. Okay, so really the first thing that happens this first week is on Wednesday, August 9th, Venus retrograde in Leo makes a square to Uranus in Taurus. So Venus has been retrograde since late July, and she's making a square to Uranus. Squares are aspects that are kind of tense and a bit conflictual. You're working something out. And this is the second time that Venus is making this aspect to Uranus. So in astrology, when planets go over an aspect with another planet once and then retrograde and go back over it and then turn direct and go forwards again, going over that aspect again, it's usually part of a larger story. We're really kind of like traveling over the same territory 3 times. And so we're honing in on this part of our lives and this part of our charts. So look to the house where you have Leo, and this is where Venus is going through her retrograde, where she's helping you review over themes regarding to relationships, love, pleasure, beauty, sex, style, aesthetics, our personal values, our sense of being valued, especially in the sign of Leo. Leo is a sign very much so about being important and being seen as special, and like, how am I special? How am I special to you? How am I significant to you in your life? That is very much so part of what this Venus retrograde might be helping us review. So Venus made the first square to Uranus in early July. So thinking around like July 1st through like the 6th-ish. What was happening around that time? What were you processing, going through, thinking, feeling? And then Venus will be squaring Uranus again on August 9th, but you'll be feeling it really from probably Saturday on the 5th. And then the third time that Venus makes this square when she's moving direct is September 30th. So the cycle's not over. We're still very much in the middle of it, but we're learning something, we're processing something, we're figuring something out, we're working through something Venusian and Uranian. So if Venus is about relationships, love, beauty, sex, pleasure, joy, what we find fun and joyful, how we express ourselves with our style, what our sense of value and how we value ourselves and others. Uranus is a planet about freedom, innovation, experimentation, and breakthroughs, and also can feel a bit unstable or uncertain as well. It's very kind of an erratic, up and down kind of feeling with this planet. So on its very most basic form, this Venus retrograde square Uranus could be about turnarounds in your relationships, turnarounds where there's been stuckness in relationships. There might be sudden insights into your values and into your relational needs. And you might have maybe the courage to express that to someone or to those you love. Or maybe if there's been hurt feelings, this is a time where you might have the sudden courage to talk about it and express what your needs are. And also, the turnarounds in relationships. If you've been feeling you're going in one direction, you might have this sudden realization like, this isn't working for me, or this isn't what I want, or this isn't how I want to feel in a relationship, or, oh, this is my pattern in relationships, and I'm like recognizing it, it's becoming more clear, and I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this pattern that I have in relationships. So it can be really positive, but could also be connected to some sort of conflict, inner, outer. You might have to face some conflict externally. And conflict can be such a scary word, but telling someone how you feel, or maybe if your feelings were hurt or something like that, or like what you need in the relationship. It could be very much so about relationships, but also could be more about like your style, your appearance, how you express yourself externally, which often relates to or can relate to how we feel internally. So there might be a sudden desire to change something about your external appearance. maybe, I don't know, like what comes to mind is like getting a tattoo or a piercing or a haircut or getting some new clothes, and really having your outer expression be more reflective of your true nature or your sense of authenticity. So it's a good, you might notice this happening naturally, or you could also utilize this time to take action. I would say around the style thing, you might regret things later, so just kind of keep that in mind. This could be kind of a compulsive or impulsive desire to change something without much like forethought, which might be fine for you, but okay, and then there's always Uranus is very experimentative and innovative, and so there might be this desire to try something new or different or experimental in relationships, or maybe with regards to sex, or like I said, style. So just this desire to shake it up, try something new. So like I said, this could feel disruptive. It could also has the great potential to feel freeing and give us the breakthrough that we've been needing. And I really think this energy is going to last for a couple days, because on Sunday the 13th, the Sun and Venus come together in the sign of Leo. And that's where, whenever a planet comes into conjunction with the sun, it's gifted the sun's light. The light of the sun illuminates the planet and the planet's motives and themes and signification. So we're getting some insight into what this Venus retrograde is about for us, particularly on Sunday the 13th. And there might even be additional insights into relationships. Like I said, maybe what is working or what isn't working, what you feel like you need in the relationship, what you need to feel special or significant to people that you love. Also on Sunday the 13th, since we're there, this is a day to relax into whatever feels soft and pleasurable and joyful and beautiful, and taking a break if you can. It is a Sunday, so it's a weekend. It's a day to be with loved ones. Also throughout this like Venus retrograde square Uranus up until Sunday the 13th with the Sun conjoining Venus, we might have some old relationships come up or come back to us, where maybe something in an old relationship wasn't quite integrated or wasn't quite done or wasn't quite processed. And so it might also be a time where you're reviewing old relationships, and a literal old relationship might come up for review, for revision, for integration, for completion, maybe for like finally deciding to move on and not maybe not have that relationship in your life if it's not healthy for you, or starting or thinking about like starting a new way to relate to that person that feels nourishing. So back to August 9th, Wednesday, when Venus squares Uranus, we have Mercury also trining Jupiter. So I feel like this really helps actually. Mercury is the planet of the mind and communication and how we think and talk. Jupiter is a planet about grace and healing and opportunity and abundance and philosophy of life. So this feels also like a day to have some healing conversations, which is really helpful with this Venus square Uranus when some disruptions are coming up with regards to relationships and our values and love and beauty. Mercury trine Jupiter might also have nothing to do with the Venus square Uranus. It might be connected to a totally different part of your life. So look out for good news, a positive message. In general, it could be external. It could, come from a friend or like a boss, or maybe you get notified that there's a new opportunity. Or it could be internal. It could be that you're having this internal experience of having a positive mindset or a sense of internal healing, or maybe you get some sort of message from yourself or your higher self or whatever kind of spiritual philosophy you have. So, but generally speaking, Mercury trine Jupiter is really like a lovely energy. It's very expansive. You might have some more mind-opening conversations, more philosophical conversations, really kind of reflecting on your belief system, what you value, what's important to you. Religion, spirituality, those kinds of things are very kind of normal for a Mercury-Jupiter connection. Okay, and then, so Tuesday the 15th, well, let me back up. So Wednesday the August 9th, we have that Venus retrograde square Uranus, which will be feeling really through Sunday the 13th, maybe a little longer. And we have the Mercury trine Jupiter. Then we have Sun conjunct Venus on Sunday the 13th, bringing those new insights, new awarenesses around this Venus retrograde. Then on Tuesday the 15th, the Sun in Leo makes the square to Uranus. And once again, this could be very much related to the Venus square Uranus. So more additional processing or insights into what this Venus retrograde is for you, what you need and value in relationships. Also, on Wednesday, I think it's Wednesday, let's see. Yeah, Wednesday the 16th, we have a new moon in Leo. So Sun and Moon come together in Leo at 23 degrees of Leo, and it's in a square to Uranus. So new moons are times of new cycles beginning for the month ahead. So whatever kind of aspects are happening at the new moon is kind of the energy we can expect to work throughout the month ahead. So thinking about sudden need for change or freedom, or to try something new or different, or to change something, innovate something, maybe having like a month that's like kind of a breakthrough for you, like really having some insights and downloads and revolutions, maybe revolting against something internally or externally. Could also be like, just the desire to veer into new horizons, course correct in some way. I often think of Uranus, it's like this like big disruptive, destabilizing influence, but I feel like Uranus helps us to course correct if we're like off course. So that will definitely be influencing the month ahead. Could feel a little rocky or unstable Wednesday the 16th into kind of the lunar month ahead as we navigate these changes. So, and on the same day as Wednesday the 16th, Mars in Virgo makes the trine to Uranus. So that is helpful. So we have Sun, Moon together, new moon in Leo making a square to Uranus. At the same time, Mars in Virgo makes a trine to Uranus. So we have square to Uranus is like conflictual, like kind of sticky, having to work through things. But the trine to Uranus that Mars makes is helpful, opportunistic, easeful. So that's going to help us. And Mars is a planet about action, taking action, our energy. How do we spend our energy? So a really good way to move through this new moon and the month ahead and creating these like changes that we so desire and need to kind of course correct, it's a good idea to do it slowly, ground. And what I mean by ground is really getting into your body, into your senses. If you're feeling overwhelmed at any point, you can do very simple mindfulness grounding techniques or exercises, like just like rubbing your fingers together and noticing the sensation of what that feels like, or noticing your feet on the ground. What does that feel like? What does the chair against your back feel like? What does it feel like to breathe really deeply? Maybe even just breathing and noticing the air going through your nostrils. Which nostril is more open, left or right? These kind of more mindfulness, body-based techniques. This will be really helpful. This is called grounding. This is helpful to when we're navigating changes and shifts, because changes are hard on the body, the nervous system. When we make big changes, it's a lot for our system. And what I mean by system is our body, our nervous system. It's hard for our system to get used to and can feel destabilizing. So ground, make changes slowly, make incremental changes, like one baby step at a time. And I think that'll really help with this upcoming new moon in Leo square to Uranus. Clearly there's something that needs to change, and we'll get clues by looking at what house is being impacted. So what house has Leo on the cusp, and that will give you some more information as to what's needing changing in your life. And you probably don't even need to know what house it is for you, because you'll just know what in your life right now isn't working for you, or what's been feeling sticky, or ooh. So I think it'll be easy to know intuitively. And that is the astrology for the next couple of weeks. I hope this was helpful. I'd love to hear your insights, what's coming up for you, what you feel needs to be changed in your life, and anything else. And once again, liking, subscribing, commenting helps the channel to grow, and I really appreciate it. And also I'm open for consultations if anyone's interested. Please reach out. Otherwise, I will see everyone next week for another astrological update, or in 2 weeks for another astrological update. Okay, take care.